Christine Johnston, the current president of Seroptimus International Southeast Asia Pacific, and I'm pleased to be bringing to you this presentation, which was originally presented at CSW68 in New York. This presentation was part of the combined five federations SI presentation on gender equality. Seroptimus International Southeast Asia Pacific. Who are we and where are we? Our members are located in 13 countries across the Asia Pacific region. We are a grassroots organisation and our members understand the needs of their communities, identifying issues and then in consultation design projects which will address the issues and create lasting change for women and girls. Just recently, we welcomed women from Vietnam into our online club. So we are a one-stop shop. If you're looking for an organisation, we cover many objectives. Our projects work to address education, elimination of violence, economic empowerment, food security, healthcare, environment sustainability, water and sanitation, conflict resolution, peace promotion, disaster relief and mitigation resistance. We are across all of these areas because we know these are the areas where women and girls need to be closing the gender gap. But what are the barriers? According to the World Bank 2023, the most pressing issues are women working are not afforded equal economic opportunities, legal barriers preventing full participation, women face job restrictions and are definitely not guaranteed equal pay. In 2021, 23 countries reformed their laws to make much needed steps towards advancing women's economic inclusion. And I can report that in 2 of our countries in our federation, they did make significant legislation changes. Cambodia introduced an old age pension scheme, and Vietnam introduced the elimination on all restrictions of women's employment. So we need to also identify target areas. And certainly these were the ones identified, and Seroptimus are one of the leading grassroots women's organisations worldwide. Seroptimus in SISEAP promoted female leadership projects which address targets 5.1 and 5.8. In particular, the Savvy Skills project in Malaysia addressed efforts to promote and empower women in politics. The club worked with the Ministry of Women and Children and Social Protection in collaboration with the International Republican Unit funded by the US. This project dealt with training in leadership, preparing women to enter politics. And in Sigatoka, Fiji, they also ran workshops assisted by the Assistant Minister of Fiji, and these workshops encouraged women to run for municipal council elections. These workshops delivered an excellent program to local women. And I'm pleased to announce that Seroptimus in 2023 provided 106,573 AU dollars worth of scholarships across SDGs 3, 4 and 5. These scholarships were for primary, secondary, tertiary and vocational training. The Zero Draft document also identified barriers, and these ones here that I've listed were identified by NGO CSW. And they reveal the need for comprehensive policy action in the following areas. And once again, I'm very pleased to state that Seroptimus provide projects, scholarships and advocacy actions which addressed all of the identified barriers. One of them ones that we did was Seroptimus implemented healthcare projects which addressed SDGs 5.2, 5.3 and 5.6. For instance, SI Petlanjara in Malaysia have an ongoing SPOT training program. This program provides workshops, education and peer training They are conducted in schools and provide awareness regarding reproductive health, bullying, and peer pressure. There were equity projects too, which addressed 5.1 and 5.8, and these scholarships to young women for STEM projects, as well as full-day workshops designed to engage primary and secondary students in science-related subjects. Economic projects, SDG 5.9, providing vocational training for migrant women in occupations which will provide an improved income and also provide for better working arrangements for their families. So I'd like to just highlight these next couple of slides, which are a snapshot of the project work which was provided to our program reporting database in 2023. This slide is a snapshot of the work undertaken which addressed SDG 5 and SDG 8, linking back to the identified barriers and the target areas that were shown earlier in the slides. So projects across the 13 countries met 6 of the SDG 5 targets. A total of 4,691 women and girls benefited from these projects, costing 110,700 AUD dollars to implement. This one addresses the scholarships, and as I said earlier, across all of the SDGs, we granted a grand total of 106,573 AUD dollars worth of scholarships. But if we look at this slide, which is only addressing SDG 4 quality education and SDG 5 gender equality, you will see that we had a spend of $4,130 worth of scholarships for women and girls across primary, secondary, tertiary, and vocational sectors. Advocacy is also another large part of the work we do as Soroptimist. This slide here shows the amount of hours undertaken by Soroptimist in advocacy work to meet gender equality and reduce inadequacies. So, as you'll see from what I've presented so far, Soroptimists do have a deep understanding of the issues. They do understand what is required to meet the needs of the women in their communities. We go out and we speak to these women. Whilst we have this knowledge, it is often that clubs do not have the necessary finances to implement a successful project. The Brilliant Futures Fund attempts to address the barriers by providing funding of up to 10,000 AUD to implement grassroots projects. The funding is totally reliant on donations, and I'm pleased to say that in the past 2 years, we have 6 successful rounds of funding. But today, I would really like to focus on one of those projects, and that was the Stitching Dreams project, Connecting Communities, a project undertaken by SI Hornsby from Sydney, Australia. They did this in partnership with Afghan Women on the Move and Host International. The 3 organisations worked together on a project. The project addressed the identified target areas I spoke about earlier, addressing gaps in skill, education, healthy lives, and flexible working. So they approached migrant women in Sydney, offering to provide them with the necessary skills to reach economic independence in their new country. So migrant women from Afghan, Iran, Syria, Pakistan, India, Sudan, Indonesia, and the Philippines were invited to participate in a 20-week course. 30 women were eligible to sign up for the 20-week course. A qualified tailor was employed to teach the women pattern making and sewing. The SI Hornsby members attended over the 20 weeks. They acted as childminders, watching the young children of the women so that they could concentrate on their training. The volunteers also assisted with conversational English to help the women improve their English and thus improve their social connection within and outside of their communities. Professional trainers were brought in to teach financial literacy, banking, budgeting, saving, basic accounting, and setting up a business and how to sell their products. Mental health wellness were covered so that the women could reduce stress and anxiety. The English lessons and the creative outlet of sewing helped to assist here. The new skills will provide a pathway to independence for these migrant women. At the 20-week mark, feedback sessions were held with participants to gauge the progress and expectations. At the end, another evaluation session was conducted by the partnerships and with the women, consulting with the women, and these also resulted in minor improvements which could be delivered in the next phase. The club is currently working with Afghan women for the next 20 weeks of training another 20 women. And this positive feedback from one of the recipients. I knew how to sew a little, and I came to sewing class to learn more and make new friends. Learning English and tailoring terms in English, and the friendly atmosphere the instructors created with patience and kindness. I first thank God and then the kind instructors and officials with all my heart. And here you'll see some of the women receiving their certificates at the end of the course. It certainly did make a difference to the lives of those women. The right to education is the key to freedom. Soroptimists address education as a priority across all their projects. This is why grassroots organisations such as Soroptimists require more funding to implement projects which are sustainable and make a difference. If you wish to donate, please check out our website. We're very happy to take your donations. They do make a difference to women and